Hello, and welcome to my 5-minute OKKOTSU deck breakdown. This card is a proxy alt-art version of Lazav the Multifarious that I made using Card Conjurer. For folks who haven't seen the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, OKKOTSU is one of 4 special grade sorcerers recognized by Jujutsu High. The main reason why YUTA is among Yuki, Gojo, and Geto is primarily due to this demon, Rika, the Queen of Curses. Let's start with the tragic childhood love. Rika is a cursed spirit that serves to support YUTA as an additional combatant during his fights. Rika exists in 2 forms, a partial manifestation that is mostly made up of a black mass, who can chase, maim, and pummel her opponents independently from YUTA. The much stronger full manifestation occurs when YUTA puts on Rika's old ring, a form that lasts for 5 minutes. In this 5-minute period, she can store a variety of curse tools inside her for YUTA to use, and allows him to access boundless cursed energy and cursed techniques that they've copied from their opponents. If anyone has played Don't Starve, Rika reminds me of Abigail, a protective spirit that can be summoned from a dead heirloom. YUTA's innate technique allows him to copy any sorcerer's curse technique. Whenever Rika consumes a part of the original cursed sorcerer's body, she stores the technique of the user inside her. The stronger the technique, the bigger the body part needs to be that Rika consumes. This power is really similar to someone from Hunter x Hunter. You're on Fraud Watch, Gege. We're gonna focus on only anime techniques copied by YUTA. This means going from JJK 0 to the end of the Sendai Colony arc of JJK Season 3. These techniques in no particular order. Ability of YUTA's friend Toge Inumaki allows YUTA to copy his opponents to harm themselves. This can range from very kindly asking people to maim their limbs, to outright having people sewer slide themselves, to Kako's ability which allows YUTA to manipulate space, bending reality around him to dodge and redirect attacks. After ending Druve, YUTA can create tiny representations of his massive cursed spirits. The overlap of the spirit barriers would damage his opponents with slashing attacks. In order to capture the full power of YUTA, I need a commander that can copy the abilities of other creatures at will. I need a representation of his full manifestation of Rika through a ring. I want to represent all major curse techniques that he's copied in the show so far, and I want to use special katanas to carve up my opponents. Introducing Lazav the Multifarious. Lazav is a 2-mana Dimir shapeshifter that surveys and has the ability X colorless mana. Lazav the Multifarious becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except that its name is Lazav the Multifarious. It's legendary in addition to its other types, and it has this ability. Lazav allows us to transform into any creature that is put into my graveyard, and if you have enough mana, we can combo different creatures' abilities together in the various phases of your turn. He's a perfect representation of YUTA, as we can imagine the various creatures in our graveyards as sorcerers whose techniques have been consumed by Rika. And where's Rika, you might ask? Ask no more. We've split Rika into 2 parts, one to represent the unmanifested state that acts independently of YUTA, but mainly uses physical attacks. Elbrus the Binding Blade is a 7-mana equipment, where when equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it unattaches and transforms into Withengar Unbound. This is a 13/13 black demon with flying, intimidate, and trample. Whenever player loses the game, put 13 +1/+1 counters on Withengar. For a single unblocked swing, we can bring out a creature that will attack through any defense. Intimidate will go through anything that isn't colorless or black, and Flying Trample will blow through walls. For Manifested Rika, I wanted to have her showcase her storage abilities that she has in the show. Altar of the Wretched is a 3-mana artifact where when it enters the battlefield, I can sacrifice a non-token creature. If I do, draw X cards, then mill X cards, where X is that creature's power. This is a great representation of how Rika can consume sorcerers to store their cursed abilities, allowing us to send creatures to our graveyard from field and library in order to copy their effects with YUTA later on. This is a recursive ability if this artifact ever goes into the graveyard. For 3 mana, we can return Altar to our hand in order to sacrifice another creature to get card advantage and mill more creatures. By paying 4 mana and crafting with 1 or more creatures, we transform Altar into Wretched Bone Mass, a creature that has the combined power and toughness of all the creatures from our graveyard, but more importantly, all of the keywords of creatures used to craft it. Lifelink, Hexproof, Death Touch, Trample, Reach, whatever you need. Exile these creatures' techniques into Rika and transform her into a late-game unkillable machine. You might have noticed both Rika forms can be cast for around 8 mana, and this is a nice segue into, to summon our Rikas, we need ring artifacts that can be activated to give us massive infusions of mana. These are the rings in my deck, but I really want to focus on Replicating Ring. A 3-mana artifact, Replicating Ring starts as a regular mana rock. At the beginning of my upkeep though, I can add a night counter on the ring, and with 8 night counters, replicate the ring 8 times. This ring is so thematic, it takes forever to give you 8 mana. The time element is reminiscent of the 5-minute restriction YUTA has with Rika's ring on. The 8 mana is the exact amount we need to cast and equip the Elbrus Blade, or cast and craft with Altar of the Wretched. Let's keep up the pace. We got YUTA and Rika set up. Let's represent the 4 curse techniques from the show. Notion Thief is the only game changer in our deck, bumping this experience to bracket 3. A 4-mana Dimir human rogue, YUTA can transform into Notion Thief or it can be flashed in order to respond to any beneficial draw spells that helps my opponent. Use your curse speech to say no way, canceling that draw and have you draw a card instead. Combine this with Whispering Madness, a card that lets each player discard their hand in order to draw cards equal to the player who discarded the most cards. We can use this spell to load our graveyard with utility creatures, but if Yuta is Notion Thief while this is played, they discard their entire hand and only we draw. Transform to redirect spells to you or redirect spells away from you. Spellskite does the former, a 2-mana artifact creature that lets you pay 2 life or blue in order to change the target of a spell to Spellskite. When Yuta turns into Spellskite, any beneficial aura or protection spell an opponent casts can be redirected to you. On the other hand, if you want to redirect exile enchantments, turn into Quicksilver Dragon. This is a creature that I feel best represents Takako, a 6-mana 5/5 flying translucent dragon that can redirect any spell that targets the dragon to something else for 1 mana. Time for combos. These cards will get us the insane mana to get our combos off, but there's a controversial combo possible with Yuta that gives us infinite mana. Necrotic Ooze is a 4-mana ooze that has all the activated abilities of all the creature cards in my graveyard. If Ooze or Yuta copying Ooze is on the field, with Omen Hawker and Pilipala in my graveyard, we can use Ooze's effect to tap Omen Hawker, adding 2 mana for abilities, which can be immediately used to untap Pilipala, giving us a net 1 free mana per loop, allowing us to tap untap to generate infinite of any mana of phase. We can easily drop the 3 creatures needed for our combo by getting these Entombed Tutor cards. Buried Alive in particular will let us use this combo from the get-go by sending Ooze, Pili, and Omen into our graveyard. With infinite mana and infinite untapping, let's go into our battle combos. The combat phase in Magic the Gathering has 5 steps. I'm going to show 2 battle combos that will allow Yuta to steal techniques to become unblockable, trigger on-attack abilities, and maximize the damage output. Combo 1, Deck Toss. Before beginning of combat, turn into Fleet Swallower. Declare Attacker's Step. Attack to mill half of your deck, then copy Invisible Stalker to get hexproof and unblockable. Declare Blocker Step. Yuta is not blocked. Then copy Mortivore. Combat Step. Yuta as Mortivore deals lethal damage to a player. Combo 2, the Utility Engine. Before beginning of combat, turn into Crystalline Giant. Gamble on a useful counter from Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, or Menace. Beginning of combat step, turn into Onrakir the Traveler, a card that lets us bring an artifact from the grave and pay life to play on the board instead of its mana. Declare Attacker Step. Attack to trigger Onrakir, fetching any artifact we need. Then copy Goodle Lurker for unblockable. Declare Blocker Step. Creature is not blocked. Then copy Sphinx of the Second Sun. After your combat phase ends, you get another beginning phase, where you can untap lands, upkeep, and draw another card. So, do you think this deck captured the essence of Yuta? Unlike other deck breakdowns, I've included what needs to be swapped in and out in order to upgrade or downgrade this deck. Hope you guys have fun with this deck build. Also, thank you for watching this video. What should the next Jujutsu Kaisen character be that I cover? Let me know in the comments. Stay tuned, more to come.